So this is my new chicken coop that I just built. I have this screened-in porch that's elevated, so I basically utilize that as most of the roof or cover for the run. And then the actual coop has some rubber roofing on it that I just stuck on there. Try and save some money. I had some leftovers. Let's go inside first. So my chickens, they aren't living out here yet. They're just kind of spending an hour or two today just to kind of get used to things. They're 4.5 weeks old. I have the one on the right is a barred Plymouth Rock. Next to it is the Rhode Island Red. The blonde one is a buff Orpington. And the little one is a spotted Sussex, I believe it's pronounced. So this is the inside of the coop. I have two roosts over here, one higher than the other, kind of for the pecking order. I have the ramp that goes up to the coop. With a sliding door, I can actually operate that on the outside. You can see it kind of hooked on the hardware cloth. And then it just goes up to an eye hook, to another eye hook, down to the door. Works pretty well. I actually recessed some 2x3s so that it goes down in here, so that if any raccoons actually break through the chicken wire, which I read they actually can, they'll never be able to get their paws underneath here to lift up the door. I have the food container hanging. No food again because they aren't living out here yet. This is my oyster shell dispenser. I guess it's good for them. When they start laying eggs, I have a little funnel to put in the top, fill it up, goes down to the bottom. Should work out pretty well. Everything's really secure. They're not going to knock it over. It's one of the problems I read about, that if it's loose it will get knocked over. This is the watering can. I basically just put 4 poultry nipples in the bottom of it. They haven't figured that out yet. I just tried to show them. I think they're a little too small. I did put hardware cloth on the bottom half of this coop and chicken wire on the upper half. I read after I put it up that raccoons can actually chew through chicken wire, so hopefully that doesn't happen. The bottom of the hardware cloth we dug down as deep as we could. Down here it's basically flush with that 2x4 on the ground, so we put a bunch of rocks in there. There's actually rocks all the way up around this. This is probably 8 inches deep. Over here is probably 10 inches. And we also put pavers all down this, just to be safe. Over here, I had some granite blocks, granite pavers left over, so we buried those where it's shallow too. Up here it's dug pretty deep. So the actual coop, this is the laying box. It does have a lock on it for raccoons, so they can't open it. I have 3 in here. That upper piece of plywood you see right there is just temporary, just so when they do come out here they can't get in here, because they don't lay for 5 or 6 months, so I don't want them pooping in here and I just have to clean it. The actual lid, I put 2x3s around the edge, so it basically goes over the edge of the box so that it seals very well, so no animals can get in there. And then we have this little lock and you're good to go. I put a window up here. This is just plexiglass. I put in some 1x, recessed it a little bit, the width of the plexi, so the plexi was flush with the outside of the coop. And then I just siliconed it in. I'm a little concerned about raccoons kind of digging that out. So I ended up putting hardware cloth. You can see it, that's on the inside. So if they get through the plexi, they're not going to get through the hardware cloth. Another concern is, like I said earlier, them chewing through the chicken wire. I know they can climb the hardware cloth and get to it, but this would be kind of a pain in the ass, I think, for them to get to. But I know they will be able to get up on this roof and they can just sit and work on this chicken wire, so hopefully that doesn't happen. And then the actual coop door for servicing, cleaning, it opens all the way up, so I can basically just bring a wheelbarrow up here, pull all the hay or wood shavings out and dump it in my backyard in the woods, so that works out well, or in the compost pile. I put linoleum down like a lot of people suggested. Again, they just moved out here, so I haven't had to clean it yet, but I can already tell it's going to be amazing. It's going to make my life much easier. Poop won't stick to the plywood, so that'll be really nice. The actual roost, I just made it out of 2x3s, and what I did was I used joist hangers, 2x4 joist hangers, and they were, because I used 2x3s, they were a little tall, so I actually cut them down a little bit so that their feet wouldn't touch them. And what this does, I screwed these 2x4s together, so this whole thing can literally just lift right out, and those ends come out too. So it's super easy to get this out if you need to get in here for some reason. There's the hardware cloth on the window, inside of the window. And then I put 2 vents up there. I believe they're 6x14s. I might cover one of those up in the winter when it gets a little cold. Yeah, so this is looking like it's going to work pretty well. I have extra locks on the door. And then this is how the actual coop door works. You grab this, unhook it, and then the door closes. And like I said, it's recessed down in there so that no raccoons can get their paws underneath it and lift it up. It took me probably 2 weekends to do, and it was about $600 total. It was a fun project. Looking forward to getting some eggs, seeing these little girls grow.